Hey guys, this is Alex from Raptoreum Emporium, and today we're going to be making a video just doing some testing on different setups. It's kind of a reply or response to a video that myself and my friends that work here at Raptoreum Emporium, we saw this video from another YouTuber called Son of a Tech, where he was kind of advertising that he was getting 5400 hashes per second on a 5950X, and we didn't think that was very accurate based on our experience with that CPU, and we wanted to do some testing. So, but before we get into the testing, let's talk about Raptoreum Emporium, the pool that we run, and the site. And first of all, say thank you to everyone that has joined our pool. It's been pretty awesome. We're just a couple guys that kind of got into this as a hobby, and it's been really fun. And when we first started it, it was pretty much just us. I think we have, I don't know exactly how many rigs we have right now. I want to say it's 70-ish, which is a big deal to us. It took us a lot of work and money to get to that place. But we started running the pool at 2% fee, and then also XMRig's latest miner came out where they kind of gave us a little bit of a free endorsement. So that was really nice of them, and I think a lot of people that came to us came from XMRig. So thanks for all the new people who have joined. But we had just, I think about 100 users between ourselves and some friends that joined our pool. For most of the time we've been running it for the past few months, and then just recently with that change of XMRig promoting us, we are now at 480 miners, and we're at 1 mega hash per second, which is crazy because I think we were at 200, I want to say 200 kilohash before. So this is quite a huge difference for us. Again, thank you for everyone that's joined. We have a ton of content we're going to be bringing you guys mostly about testing different CPUs, different software, different overclocks, things like that. So anyway, let's go take a look at the setups we have out in the warehouse. Guys, so this is our testing setup here. We have 4 different test rigs, and all 4 of them are using 5950Xs, and the PBO overclock settings are all set to match exactly what Son of a Tech said he was doing on his video, where he got an average of 5400 mega hash. So let's talk about the differences on the 4 rigs, why we have 4. There's obviously they're not all the same. We can start over here. This is kind of our control board, you could say. This is like the kind of a baseline. So this is an motherboard is the ASUS TUF Gaming X570 Plus Wi-Fi, which is the main board we're using for most of these here. And then we have all of these have a good water cooler on them, so the cooling is not a problem. And this is using just really basic 2666 megahertz memory. So that's, and it's on Linux. When we move over to here, the main difference, sorry, the keyboard's in the way. The main difference from this board to this one is that this is on Windows instead of Linux. All right, we move over to here. Main difference is that this is a high-end MSI X570 Ace motherboard. It has 2 8-pins connected. Son of a Tech talked throughout his video how he thinks that the really expensive motherboards get you much better results, and having more power delivery is a really big deal. We're very skeptical about that statement, and that's part of another thing why we're doing the test. We're skeptical of his 5400 hash rate average. We're skeptical about him thinking that you need a high-end motherboard. I want to say this motherboard is probably like $300 or $400, $500 somewhere in there. It's really expensive. Let's just say it's probably around $300-400, whereas these are like $130. These TUF X570, so way cheaper and really easy to get too. And then, so this is the 4th board, and the main difference is just memory. This has 3600 megahertz memory. That's the only main difference on this board, right? So 4 different things we're testing. We're testing Windows versus Linux. We're testing high-end motherboard versus a regular X570 motherboard, and we're testing 3600 megahertz RAM versus 2666. All right, so we're gonna run benchmark on all 4 of these, and we'll come back with the results.
Okay, guys, so we got done benchmarking, and this was supposed to be our fastest machine with the 3600 megahertz RAM, and it did 4381 hashes on a 5950 on the benchmark. That sounds high, but that's not the pool average. That's just the actual hash rate in the benchmark, but it's comparable to other ones that are also running the benchmark. So for this one, we have the X570 Ace with the 2666 RAM, and it got 4426 hashes. So just a little higher than even this one with 3600. This one's Windows, and it's still going because it has to do a tune, and we're gonna let that one go first. But on the third one on Linux, which is the tough board, the same one as the first one, but with the slow RAM, is 4466. So from our observations, RAM actually doesn't very matter much. We could start testing how fast the CL is of these versus the 3600. The 3600 is CL16. These might also be like CL16 or CL15, maybe that matters, but the actual bandwidth does not.
Guys, so we have a final test result here on the Windows motherboard, and the final result was that we got about 4100 hash rate, which was about 300 hash rate slower than the other 3 Linux based systems. So Windows is definitely slower on the regular CPUMiner than if you're using Linux, but it's not like light years slower. You know, obviously we're not talking about a big percent difference. Basically 4100 versus 4400. And you know, for a lot of people that don't know how to use Linux, the convenience of sticking with Windows, maybe you're playing video games on your system, and then when you log off for the night, you just keep your system running and you're mining with it. It might be more convenient for you to do Windows and not worry about that 300 hash rate that you're losing. Whereas if you're running like a farm, like what we showed you earlier, you definitely want to be running Linux, because you know, if you have 80 or 100 computers running and that 300 hash rate, that's a lot of money that you're losing out on. So I think it's for everyone. You know, if everyone's different, if you really want to get the bigger hash rate and you're on your gaming system, you just have your one system, and you want to be getting these kind of scores, you should dual boot your system with Linux. You can figure out how to do that. I'm not going to get into that here, but there's plenty of guides online. And then we have a lot of other tests we're going to be doing very shortly here. All of these rigs are going to be switching to XM rig, and it's going to be interesting to see changes with Windows, because they're supposed to be, from what we've heard, XM rig is more friendly with Windows systems. So we may end up having a conclusion after that video that if you're going to be on Windows, maybe you should be on XM rig. But all these systems will all be on Windows, and then we're going to be testing more Intel-based CPUs, which aren't very popular normally, but it's going to be more for fun. Some people already have, you know, a 9900K or something like that, and they just want to start mining Raptoreum without changing their whole system. So that will be for those type of people. I'm going to give you a sneak preview about what's going on over here. Oh, we've got a ROG Maximus Z690 formula. Oh no, someone stole it. Just kidding, it's right here. So we have a 12900K. If you could see, sorry, the light's not good. There we go, 12900K, and we have 32 sticks of non-RGB DDR5 RAM, and we're going to be doing some Raptoreum testing on this just for fun, probably with XM rig most likely. So anyway, lots of stuff. We have a whole spreadsheet of videos planned for you guys of things that we want to test for Raptoreum. So anyway, stay tuned if you want to see more stuff. Thanks.